Okay guys, welcome back to the Daily Drift. So, you guys probably remember my truck, again, the Silverado, with the door that got smashed, and you probably remember that my door doesn't exactly line up right, so when we go to shut it, it does this. It sags a little bit. It doesn't want to shut like it's supposed to, you see? It doesn't quite line up like it's supposed to, so we're gonna fix that today. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this door off, and we're gonna get these hinges in here fixed. So the problem is in here, these hinges, when we got hit, got bent slightly, and the bushings in here and the hinge pins are slightly off. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fix that. And I got these new hinges from Total Automotive that we're gonna work on installing, and it should hopefully fix that problem so I can have a door that actually shuts like it's supposed to. Supposedly they're easy to do, supposedly you can get it done in like 10-15 minutes. We'll see how long it actually takes. After we get done with that, I'm gonna swap over my handle, because right now this handle, it works, but my keys don't work on this knob because it's for a different car. So we're gonna swap that, and I'll show you how to do that too. So that's gonna be what we're gonna fix today, so let's get started. Okay, so here you have the parts from Total Automotive. Basically what they are, this is the tool kit that you're gonna get. Basically it's just to remove the old bushings and install the new ones. This is the new set of hinges and bushings. The pins and everything, they screw in. We'll go over how to install everything, but that's what it looks like, nice quality parts. And yeah, and I'll put a link in the description as to where you can get these from. It's Total Automotive, so I'll put that in the description. So if you don't have friends like me,
they ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Then what you gotta do is you gotta use yourself a cherry picker and hoist that door up, and it'll make it a lot easier if you're working by yourself. So let's do that. So ideally you wanna use something soft, something like rope. Rope's pretty cheap. They sell stuff, but this is gonna save you the most money, so I suggest rope. Definitely stick with rope. Seems to do the best job, I would say. Next step, let's get to unbolting those bolts and get this door off. Okay guys, you got 3 10mm bolts. So take a 10mm socket, get rid of that one, and that little puppy. Let's do it. Done and done. Okay, before you disconnect the door, be sure to pop this out. Just be very careful not to scratch your paint with a screwdriver or pry bar. Just remove the plastic piece so you get behind it and expose the wires. Okay, then you gotta remove this plastic piece here. I already popped mine off. And then back here, you're just gonna follow these wires. So you're gonna follow these wires, disconnect your harness. It may look like this. There's this little piece here. Just gonna disconnect this. Pops out like that. Your harness should just pop right out. Okay, so there's that. Nice and easy. Another little box right here. Pop that out. And inside there's another clip. On mine, it's this orange one. We just gotta pop that out. You might have to get a screwdriver or something. You may find this one to be a pain in the butt, but be persistent, you can get it. It's just a little orange tab right here you gotta push in, and it releases it, and it comes out of there. So work your harness through, so that way you can pull it through the hole. Okay, so now that we got it through the hole, we're now ready to pull the door. Okay, so now we got the harness through, we got all the bolts undone, it's time to pull the door. All you gotta do, crank it up a little bit, make sure the tension's out. Looks like I'm gonna be clearing my garage, so that's good. Lift up a little, and there she goes. Nice and easy. Now the door's out of the way and we can get started working on the hinges. Okay, now if you look really closely, you can almost hear too, there's a little bit of play in there. There shouldn't be, and you can also see where this slightly bent from the impact. It's very hard to tell, When you're talking about door hinges, that's all it takes. It doesn't take much. You can almost kind of see where it's bent too. It's not straight. You see how it's got that bend in it? Shouldn't be bent at all right there, but it is. It's got play in there too. You don't want that. So we're gonna replace these. So let's, first step, what we need to do is get in here and basically grind off these little end caps. And there's these little caps on the bottoms of these things we gotta grind off. So let's do that. So just be careful when you're cutting here, not to cut, you know, this part. You don't want to cut this part. You just want to cut this little bitty lip on the bottom of this piece. Okay, that's all we're cutting. That's all we want to cut off, this little bitty lip. You cut that, we're good. Anything else, not so good. Just that little bit. That's all we want to cut. So let's do it. So guys, I ran into a problem. Problem is, this Dremel doesn't want to fit to where I need to get it to fit, and my cutoff discs on my other cutoff wheel, I don't have any, and I can't really drive the truck with no door. So we're gonna have to break out this puppy. Not too excited about it because of the situation. So if you decide to use a Sawzall, be extremely careful and cut away from the body. So cut away from the car, because if you go this way, you're gonna cut right into your fender. I can see it happening. We're just gonna be extremely careful here. So let's do it. Oh God, this is terrible. What do I get myself into these things? Like seriously, at what point do I need to realize, like, hey guys, maybe I should just pay somebody to fix my shit? You know, like, at what point do I do that? This is a terrible idea. But we're gonna do it anyway. Woo. So I did do exactly what I thought I would, but it's on the inside of the fender, so yeah. It's okay. We're gonna say that's okay. So yeah, don't do what I did, but that's alright, it worked. Now we can get that bitch off. Okay guys, so now what we're doing is we're going to take the tool that they gave us at the Total Automotive tool. Basically all this does is it pushes up the studs pins here that we just cut off the little ends, and you're going to take this piece here and it's going to go on there. You're going to crank it up and it's going to pop them little pins up. So let's get to it. So when you're putting this on, make sure that it's lined up on the bolt properly so it's nice and straight, so that way it goes into the stud where the hole is properly. Then start tightening and it should start popping that stud up. Alright. Haha. There we go. So now we got this out and we got this piece out. The reason that you use this tool instead of using a hammer and a punch, which you could use, you could do a hammer and a punch, but let's say you swing and you miss, which I do all the time. So you swing and you miss and you hit your actual hinge. Well, this hinge is welded onto the frame here. You bend this, now nothing's gonna fit properly. Now you gotta replace this, and that's a much bigger job. It's also a lot more expensive. This tool is very cheap. I believe it was like $20 or $30. It'll save you a lot of hassle, and as you can see, it's very easy to use. So I would definitely suggest getting it. So now we'll just install the new pins and and then after we get the new pins installed, we'll throw the door back on and see if everything lines up.
Okay, so you can see just how messed up these old ones were. These are the original, like, OEM ones, all kind of nasty. So I'm gonna pop these out and then we'll pop in the new bushings.
They're not that bad, but you do need to use like a screwdriver and a hammer. Just be careful not to like go super ham. You don't need to. And then they should just pop right out. All right, so next what you're gonna do is take your little bushings here. They're these little pieces. They look like gold bronze things, little top hats. Just set them inside the hole. Just like so. Boy, that was hard. Then what you're gonna do is something pretty simple. You're gonna take your bracket, okay, and it's got this nice lovely letter on there. I believe it's an L. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. And then what you're gonna do is you want it to face to where the L is up top so you can read it, okay? And then you've got two little pins. You've got one pin that has threads up here. So it's got threads up here. And then you got one that doesn't, okay? The one that doesn't goes up top. The one that does goes on the bottom. So now we're gonna take our bracket, set it inside here. Take the pin that is completely smooth on top, so not the one with the threads, but the smooth one that goes up top, slide it through, and then you're gonna start screwing that through the top one. Okay, so now we got this screwing into the top. I'm gonna take a washer, so take one of your washers and then one of your nylon nuts. So I like to put the flat end up first, so we'll do that. Nylon. And we'll just get that on there loosely just to kind of hold it. And we'll do the same thing on here, on the bottom. Now what we need is a 15 wrench, open end, and a 1/2 inch wrench for the nut. I just so happen to have both of those. So what we'll do is we'll start with the top because why not? And just be careful, don't overdo it. You don't want to strip it. Okay, so we got it on there. So at first I was kind of like having a little bit of issues because that's like, didn't look right. I don't know why, I just thought whatever. I was misinterpreting how this worked. For some reason I was thinking this is what it's spun on, not thinking that the door actually spins on these pins. Whatever, just ignore me, I'm stupid sometimes. So anyway, so these are actually where the door is going to set. So now that we got this all tightened down, we tighten these, and I did the lower ones as well, but no need to show you the same thing twice. So now that we got these all tightened on there, you could add some grease on here, like white lithium would probably be the best. I'm probably just going to use whatever grease I have laying around, just that way it doesn't squeak or anything. So yeah, so we're just gonna do that, and then we're gonna throw the door back on and see what it sounds like, see if it lines up and see if it shuts properly. So fingers crossed, everything's good. Yeah, so let's see what happens. I'm just gonna use a little grease gun. Screw it. After getting the door back together, just basically put these bolts back on. Bolt everything back up, should be nice and neat. And then now we're just make sure to put the wires in, and then we'll just hook all the harnesses back up, put the plastic back on, and we'll test it. Okay guys, time for the moment of truth. Boom. Yeah, that's pretty good. Only thing I noticed, this door seems to shut just about right. It is a little bit, so it's a little bit off. So like right there, I can't just like slowly. It's really close and it's better than what it was, but it still works just fine. And I think that might be something else that's going on. I'm not quite sure what, because this thing was hit. So other than that though, it lines up really good. All the lines fit. Everything seems to fit well. Looks good. Well guys, there you have it. That was the install of the Total Automotive door hinges and bush pins and all those wonderful goodies. I hope that this was helpful to you. I hope it helps inform you on how to do this if you're ever trying to do this yourself. It's a pretty easy install. Only, you know, it's not too bad. The hardest part is honestly holding the door up, and as long as you got a cherry picker or an engine hoist, that seems to do the trick. Outside of that, it's not too terribly bad. If you like this video, smash that like button, and we'll be sure to see you in the next one. Remember guys, keep drifting fun. So guys, I didn't show you that I fixed this, but lock, unlock.